Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic veteran here with Yanzi Lynn, and today is the day we were once again talking about more decimated DC as Batman. The Batman animated series has no home, it sounds like. So this is ground shaking. But before we get into it, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications as we do talk about the pop cultures, as we do walk through decimated DC, as it has been battered around between multiple corporations, and now it's so woke heavy, and so broke, it's having to cut off limbs from itself to survive. And it doesn't look like a Bruce Timm animated Batman series is immune to cuts, it looks like. So it's kind of hazy, but we're going to get into it. Yanzi came up with this news. Let's hear it.
So there was this animated series called Batman Caped Crusader. Now let's look at the list of talent being assigned to it over here. Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Ed Brubaker serving as executive producers. Oh my, so it's pretty much a who's who when you talk about in Hollywood. And they're working on this sequel to the 90s Batman animated series, which was very groundbreaking for its time. And now it seems like, although it's still going to keep being produced, it's not going to hit for HBO Max, which is very strange if you think about it, because after all, HBO Max is supposed to be the home of all the Warner stuff, and DC Comics is part of the Warner family. And now for some reason, something that they themselves are producing, they say we don't want it housed over here. It's like, hey, Batman, stay off our lane. Like, what? For people who are saying, oh, they're just going to cancel it, just like how they've been canceling a whole bunch of animated series. So yeah, recently we saw on Twitter a lot of creators are actually lamenting, saying that their animated shows are actually being taken off the HBO Max platform. Shows like Infinity Train, you have seen the fandom. Other shows like OKKO, Mau Mau, Heroes of Pure Heart, and so on and so forth. A lot of these, they are saying the reason for taking them off the platform is because they don't want to pay the creators residuals. Now, then what would be the reason though to say Batman Caped Crusader is not even coming onto a platform? We don't even, somehow I think that when you have Batman Caped Crusader, a Bruce Timm Batman, you actually bring in more money than you would lose to, say, paying out the residuals, because hello, it's a sequel to a 90s Batman. What's the logic here exactly?
Okay, there's a couple of things. First, everybody, we know the Batman Bruce Timm animated stuff is a fan favorite, like in all of comicdom, in all of animation. It was groundbreaking animation at the time, and it's still loved by all, even things like Batman Beyond. Okay, I do know for working at DC Comics that there are certain things that Bruce Timm actually has a sort of stake in. Things like characters like the Livewire. When DC Comics was making a Livewire DC Direct action figure for my Superman Batman run, they actually had to get approval from Bruce Timm to make that character. Why that's important is you have to understand that there are contracts specifically to certain animated deals. Bruce Timm has kind of a lot of clout. He has a lot of prestige. I don't know what this contract looked like, but I can say this. This contract was crafted and formed through the AT&T Warner Brothers DC Comics era of things. Okay, so now we have a different owner. Maybe they don't like this contract. Maybe it is very top heavy with things like J.J. Abrams attached to it. Bruce Timm, obviously another big payday. Matt Reeves associated with the more recent Batman movie. That's already expensive. And then you bring in Ed Brubaker, who is doing a lot of TV writing now in his own Image Comics and things like that. So this is already very, very expensive right out the gate, just with the names associated to it. And then there's voice actors. I don't know if they're bringing any Hollywood stars into the cast as other characters. Is Mark Hamill involved still? I don't know. Things like that. These can be Kevin Conroy. These things can be super, super expensive. A lot more expensive than the original content, obviously. I don't know if this is just not the deal that somebody like Zaslav would have crafted and were committed to. And there's a lot of baggage from the previous owners of DC Comics who had to sell the company off as a loss, that the new owner is like, I wouldn't pay that for this. And so that could be an issue.
Let me look at it from this other angle then. So people are saying that it's still under production, which means that for some reason, the money is still not being cut from this project, because they still want a Batman product, but they don't want to host the Batman product themselves. So it seems like they're kind of looking to license out Batman in a way, won't you say?
Well, it could be licensed out in the more Hollywood era of things, and this happened a lot with Legendary and Warner Brothers with a lot of their films like Man of Steel and Nolan Batman trilogy. Is they maybe are looking for a co-financer of this, somebody who will put in money on the project and of course take out a profit. Now, the reason that's super fortunate for a company that owns the IP of Batman is, yeah, you're giving away part of the profit, part of the DVD sales, part of the merch sales, maybe. But in the end, you still own the IP. So you may take less profit, but somebody footed half the bill for some of your profit, and you keep your IP alive.
You can keep selling Batman t-shirts and everything. Yay!
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of normal, but there's a lot of animation cuts happening. And here's the thing, you would think like this is a solid project. You're going to make your money back. You're going to sell your merch. You're going to sell the old Batman Bruce Timm stuff. You're going to sell a buttload of action figures. I mean, as many characters as you can put in it, as many action figures as you can sell. If you look at Bruce Timm's run on the Justice League cartoon, Justice League Unlimited and stuff, a million action figures hit the shelves. Kids loved it. This is printing money per se. I don't know where this would premiere if it's not
Right.
on HBO Max. That's the real question. And
See, Cartoon Network is under HBO Max now, so then where is it going to go? Wait, Boomerang is under HBO Max, so geez Louise, what? The only other major Cartoon Network I can think of is under Disney, so what, is going to go to Disney Plus streaming? I mean, that sounds ridiculous, isn't it?
so, and I hate to go down this road, but you buy DC Comics and you buy Warner Brothers because you want the intellectual properties, okay? Once you have the intellectual properties and you own Batman, you can make Batman comics, you can make Batman cartoons, and you can take a risk on the profit, but you're gonna have to front all the production costs. Or you can license it out, take a smaller profit, but take zero risk. And I don't know if DC Comics isn't in that crosshair right now, as DC Comics is fighting for its life. A return, the dream of the 90s is alive at DC Comics. Now, this is a hit piece by The Beat. Obviously, there's some sarcasm here. The dream of the 90s, right? The dream of when comics made money, when comics were as simple as good versus evil, not pronoun versus hate groups. The message in comics has been so messed up, and the idea of the American superhero crippled by SJW, I don't know, propaganda. Simple things like good versus evil, fun, colorful characters punching one another cannot happen today. It has to be a thinking piece. It has to be
We
what
sit in a
if.
diner and drink coffee and tweet about our latest escapades against people who don't respect our pronouns, I guess.
Right. And to think that the comic industry and the joke and the headlines that some of these comics are doing when they're hitting major news networks like Fox News and stuff for bisexual Superman, to think that this isn't taking a toll on just the superhero genre, whether it is a Bruce Timm Batman or if it's a She-Hulk TV show, maybe superheroes are becoming less and less profitable all around. And that's the issue. Maybe this is a genre that isn't faring well up under the weight of SJW, and that's it. And it could be that simple. Maybe own the IP, but maybe it needs to go away for a little while. And that's the worst case scenario, I think. I actually think the Batman cartoon, they're probably looking for another network to put it on, somebody to front the bill. Again, CW, they sold off, so it can't go there. So, I mean, this obviously they're looking for somebody to co op the project or the bill, but it's got a hefty bill. I'm sure Bruce Timm isn't getting out of bed for like a lot more money than he was paid to do the original Batman animated series, and then J.J. Abrams,
Ooh.
everything,
The Batman original series was in the 90s too, right? So this is what it all points back to. DC Comics is trying to go back to the 90s era when people were excited about comic books, when people were buying it and people are hitting up their comic shops, lining up before the shops even open. So are they really just trying to say at this point, hey, look at us, Zaslav, we are making a number. See, look at us.
Yeah. And there is one big problem with that is there isn't going to be 90s instant gratification. A lot of people don't understand the 90s were kind of built off the 80s. So you can't just end up magically right back in the 90s. You actually have to build back up to that type of cash cow that was the comic industry back then. But we try. We try over here with Inglorious Rex. Inglorious Rex, artwork done, going to the printer, working on dialogue now. 2 books for printer. We're working on the 3rd right now in the dialogue stage. But Inglorious Rex 2 sign up is live. If you do go sign up, you will have access to secret tiers, to the exclusive, to the people, to the chosen with the email addresses that you plug in. And from that, you will get a nice, shiny lenticular card with purchase of those tiers, those secret tiers, a card you can only get that could be flippable on eBay later. Please go down, look at the link below, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. Let us know what you think about this video and the comings of DC Comics and selling Batman off, maybe, who knows. And we will catch you guys again with another video.